it hasn't been that much time, so you would think, oh, I shouldn't be feeling like this about this individual. But the thing is that like, yeah, it it's in the way that I was finally starting to let my guard down. I was at the moment starting to finally let my guard down with this person. Hey there, what's going on, everybody? How are you? Welcome back to the House of Luminance. You all, I know it's been a minute. The personal things. This could be this is going to be a pretty personal video. You guys, I don't have to share this video, but I do. The intent for this video is going to be mostly about healing. And then also I do want to address the people who have been actually asking me like, hey, where have you been? You guys are always so sharing with me in your comments. And so I'll return that today. So I did take the liberty of like kind of jotting down some of the more minor reasons why I've been away. Because actually it's not really just been one huge reason or anything like that. You know, it's been kind of, a lot of different things, which on a human level, I know y'all can relate. Like we all have little things. So where is House of Luminance? All right. So the first little minor point that I wanted to hit on, it does speak about like trying to stay self-motivated. And the thing about it is that, this is something that, I do on top of being a full-time dad and on top of, having a full-time job. So, like it's a lot, and burnout is real. And for those of you who are also content creators, I know that that's something that you can relate to. I mean, even you can really relate to that in any aspect of your life where you're giving something a lot of yourself, where you in an area that is kind of deemed by society as like, the extra, you know what I'm saying? So, it has been a little bit discouraging just trying to find my own voice and, find my own style and even appreciate my own talents while being in a space where there are so many talented people out there, But the passion for it is not gone. Trust me, the passion for it is not gone. It's definitely why I made this video. We're also going to get into some cards. So yeah, that's just one part of why I've been away. Just self-motivation, self-criticism, really. You are your biggest critic. I don't get too many negative comments. So, and then the ones I do are just clearly from a-holes, you know what I'm saying? But, so that's nothing. But yeah, that's pretty much like just a small part of why I've been away. Another thing that I've been dealing with just externally, well, to be honest with you, I've had some noisy ass neighbors. Like I just had some new neighbors move in, and lately they've started to like be cool, but like for the first few weeks of them being here, it was just impossible. Because it was like they just turned the downstairs apartment into a studio. It's like they're right under me. And so it's like I hear everything around the whole house. And so, I don't know, I guess enough people have complained. So that's not too much of an issue anymore as of me recording this. So let's get into, some more personal reasons, as to why I also didn't really feel up to getting into the routine of talking about, love and relationships and stuff like we always get into, I think I said earlier before that this video's intent is to talk about healing and to bring forth healing. And I really mean that for myself on a personal level. Okay. So if you're here already with me now, then awesome. Let me just say this, right? To those of you who actually get into the channel, something that I'm always saying, right? Something that I'm always saying, I actually ended up going against that in a way. You know what I mean? And honestly, I'm slightly embarrassed to admit that because, I'm always talking about it. I'm always talking about this particular thing, about what I did or about what happened and how it could have been avoided. So, this is just a real conversation. I'm going to approach it just like a real conversation, like I'm talking to my people, So yeah, so this is what happened. So I had been seeing someone for like the summer and the beginning part of the fall. And so, okay. Anyways, so I had been seeing somebody for like the summer. I actually met this person on Father's Day, which I thought was pretty cool. my kids were actually away for the summer, and so Father's Day was here, and I had time. Well, anyways, that's why I met this person. Let's call him Virgo. So I met Virgo, and right away there was like this spark. There was this connection. Mind you, at this point, I'm still uploading. I'm still uploading videos. This person. I guess there were a lot. I think the sparks kind of flew because like we both are like very into like spiritualism, and in a way he kind of opened up my eyes and to other different parts of spiritualism that I had only before ever really kind of just like towed the edge to. You understand? So just over the next couple of months, it did progress to where it was like talking about me. Well, they were telling me that they were talking about me to their coworkers, to their parents, to just all of the people that are in their life. They were making mention of me, you know what I'm saying? And I knew this, and we'd be so excited to see each other, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have a car at this very moment, so it was like I was literally taking an hour and a half bus ride to this person's house whenever I wanted to see, whenever we wanted to see each other. Virgo had just moved. Virgo had just moved to the city also, and so it was like that. Like, I was kind of there through some of the processes and the transitionings of when Virgo got here. So I know, but it's so crazy. Like, I watch other people's story times, and I'm like, they're so brave. But I understand now because honestly, I'm taking accountability for myself here. So yeah, so over the course of all this time, like I said, Virgo's been, introducing me to people, their coworkers, like just really just, I don't know, giving me the impression that like they were really, really into me, and for the time though, that may have been true. And to be honest with you, I was the one actually in the beginning, I think, that was very skeptical at first. I kind of wanted to play things a little slow because I had only been single for maybe a year before I met him. For actually about a year and a half before I met him. And then for a year of that year and a half, I had been celibate, just practicing celibacy and just trying to work on my own inner healing because of my own mistakes that I made in past relationships. You understand? So, all right. So back to this person, back to Virgo. Okay, I'm just going to go to the day where like the shift happened, right? So where things began to like kind of progress and then degress, I suppose. Well, anyway, so I was at Virgo's place of employment, and I was amongst many of the coworkers that that I had already met before, or at least some of them that I had already met before. There were a couple that I didn't, and one of the ones that I didn't meet, I guess, knew about me, and we had actually bumped into each other earlier, amongst just the shuffle and buffle of being in the place. And so when I was actually formally introduced to her, that's when Virgo was like, yeah, hey, this is Antoine. And she was like, oh, this is Antoine. Oh, this is your boyfriend. Right. And so then, this is the moment where this is the moment where it changes, because like I could have been like, boyfriend, but I wasn't. In fact, what I did was I just leaned into it and played into it, and he didn't protest. So that's what it was. So in my mind, I'm like, oh, so he's introducing people, like he's talking about me to people like I'm his dude. And to be honest with you, I found that kind of attractive. I found that really, I liked it. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, this is the moment where I said I did something that I always stress to you all, but I actually did it. So I have to take accountability here. And this is what I'm here to do. So I just assumed that we're in a relationship now. And I just started treating the situation as though we were in a relationship. The way that I began to talk to this person became a little bit more, endearing and extra. what I didn't do is I did not have those defining conversations. I always stress to you all, have those defining conversations. Don't let just stuff sit and in assumptions. You know what I'm saying? However, even though we didn't have any defining conversations, I felt as though my assumptions were right because it was mutual. You know, it was boyfriend. You know, like my birthday came up shortly after that. In between that time, this person's a Virgo and I'm a Libra, so we met actually in when did we meet? Father's Day, so whatever season that is, I can't think right now. But anyway, so Gemini. We met in Gemini season, and then by Libra season, it's my birthday, and we're boyfriends. And like he celebrated me big on my birthday. Like he celebrated me big. I'm talking about gifts, expensive ones, dinner, and even didn't mind that, you know, my friend came along, which was my best friend that I was actually excited for him to meet, since I felt like he had introduced me to all his people. And so finally I'm introducing him to somebody of mine, my best friend, who is a hetero female, by the way, just in case anybody was wondering. And it was a great time. It was a great night. You know, there was a brief moment in the night where, like, you know, he was feeling really fatigued, and you know, he kind of had to put himself to bed. Granted, it was very late, but that was about it, you know. And then me and my best friend, we went back home. Then flash forward to you know, a week and a half later, when the first solo time I've been able to really see him since my birthday, which was only a week and a half before that. You know, we got lives, right? You know what I'm saying? Like he's working full time. You know, I'm working full time, and you know, also I'm a parent, so it's like, you know, so I didn't honestly think that, you know, that was too bad, but I did see him like maybe a few days after my birthday, right? I actually went to go have lunch with him up at his job, and I actually brought my youngest daughter with me, who's 14, you know, because it was just lunch on a Saturday. And so that was when I kind of noticed a shift in him. So he felt very much frustrated, but at the same time it was like, oh well, it's, you know, I'm tired from work. I think that was like what he said. And okay, cool. So then, you know, he made mention of making sure, he was like, well, I want to spend some one-on-one time with you. And I was like, okay, cool, you know, I'll definitely be available for that, but you know, it wasn't going to be until the very next Saturday. So that's, like I said, a week and a half after my birthday. So that whole week coming up, you know, going through that week, things were kind of like normal, right? Like it was kind of like, okay, well, you know, we're talking like normal, like we usually do. You know, there was one night where it was different. He was unreachable. But you know, I didn't really play much into it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, he was probably on the video games or with his cousins, or that's what he said he was doing. So I didn't, you know, I don't have no reason to think any different. But I did feel like that's where like a disconnect kind of began. Meanwhile, you know, still like whenever I am texting him, I'm telling him like, oh yeah, I can't wait to see you, you know, this Saturday. I can't wait to, you know, go out with you. Like the date, you know, it's all on me, you know, because I know basically a week before that, I knew you spent about a smooth $400 or $500 on me, or at least that's what I'm thinking in retrospect. So I was, you know, just very much like, hey, yeah, dinner's all on me. You know, the date is on me. And so we make plans to go to, you know, this awesome place in an awesome area. To my understanding, having an awesome time, you know? And it was a really awesome time. In retrospect, thinking back, like on that evening, I can think back and be like, okay, yeah, maybe there was a moment where, I don't know, he didn't necessarily respond to something like he usually, you know, like I, you know, thought he usually would, because, you know, we were still only barely a few months into knowing each other, you know. And it was a great night. Like I said, there were moments where it could have just been, you know, it felt a little off, but, you know, I just didn't think anything of it. So, you know, we end up back at his place, you know, and I don't know, I think we had a glass of wine, and then we definitely, you know, we're putting one in the air, you know, if you know, you know. And so we were out on the balcony. And so then here comes the bomb. It's like, okay, well, so then we're talking. And to be very honest with you, I cannot remember what exactly was said in front of that and what was actually said on the back end. I can put pieces of it together, but really the part that stood out to me was, I just want to be friends. And so I heard that, and immediately, like, that's what I got hung up on. So I honestly just don't remember much else. But I do remember at other points of him just saying, you know, like, I don't know if he was like used to the idea of being in a relationship at the moment, you know, because, you know, he had only like he hadn't been used to dealing with people who were out, right? He'd only been used to dealing with people who were in the closet, even though he is actually out himself. So I don't know, that part really didn't make sense to me. But I did ask, you know, because at this moment things were kind of like I was triggered, like certain traumas and insecurities were starting to surface. So I think I handled it pretty mature. I was in the moment just asking him like, okay, well, is it a thing about options? Because my whole thing was like, was it other people, or is it just something about me specifically that you can't get with? You know what I'm saying? Or is there like other people? And so, you know, he assured me that, you know, there wasn't other people, there wasn't any other people. You know, it was just a matter of, from my understanding, thinking back, him not being ready to be, you know, kind of moving too fast and not necessarily ready to be in a relationship, on top of him saying that he's, you know, not used to being in a relationship. He hasn't been in a relationship really ever, except maybe once 10 years ago. You know, since then he's only been dealing with DL guys, or down low guys. So if people don't understand, down low or DL guys are people who you know, they are same sex attracted. They keep it down low. They don't want nobody to know, for whatever their own reasons are. And we're not judging nobody. And then that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother video. What happened next, y'all? So I just sat there and I was just like listening to that information. And so, okay, well, if it's not about a competition thing, it is, assuming he was telling the truth. If it's not about other people, then okay, well then that must mean that, that it's me. You know what I mean? That's, like I said, that's what started to trigger some insecurities. So at that point, the night was pretty much over. Like we ended up having another moment to take in some air, if you know what I'm saying. And in that moment, like, I was just pretty much like just really kind of in shock and stunned, because the thing is like, no, we hadn't known each other that long, 4 months, but at the same time, because of the way that things had happened and because of the way that things were going, I had already just started to accept in my mind, like, oh, okay, I'm in a relationship now. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I said this earlier, but like even in my birthday card, like there was acknowledgement of boyfriend in the words. You know what I mean? So it's like, I know I'm not just pretending this. Like, it's not just in my mind. You know what I'm saying? And so I was very confused. And he acknowledged that I might be very confused in that moment. And, and I told him that I was confused and that I was a little hurt. I think that I handled the situation really well. So after that second moment where we were kind of chilling after that moment, like, again, I was just really in shock. I was really actually ready to go home, but I was trying to be too nice and I didn't want to make it seem like I was making a scene. So I just, I sat there and we smoked one more time, and I watched an episode of something, and he tried to be more hospitable, tried to offer me some wine and whatever, and I was just like, nah, I'm just gonna go home. I'm gonna call it a night. And now at this moment, I'm still in shock. Like, I'm not able, like, in everything, all the details and stuff that I'm giving you as it's happening, like, it's just most of it is just in retrospect. But in that moment, I'm just like, I'm ready to go, but I'm not gonna like make a big scene. So he walks me all the way down to the building, or to the bottom of his building, where I can call my Uber, and handled it pretty strongly, I feel. I think that he did feel a little bad, in the moment. Honestly, I just was like, don't do that. Like, don't feel bad, or don't put off like you're feeling bad about this, because just like just like you can't help that I'm feeling shocked, or that I'm feeling confused and sad, or a little bit, just like you can't help what I'm feeling, like I can't help that you don't feel anything further than just being friends. So it's okay. And so then I went home, and, the very next day, I guess, they were trying to text me, maybe just to kind of see where my head was at or whatever. But honestly, I wasn't really into it. I just, I let that person know, like, hey, like, I respect the offer of just wanting to be friends, but I can't accept that. You know what I'm saying? Like, they said that they respected that. And that's the last correspondence I've had with that person. But, you know, the thing about it is that's where I'm at, you know? And so I'm just kind of making this video. Now that I've said all that, I'm just kind of making this video just to put it out there that, you know, I was kind of dealing with something that I had to kind of get over. I did something that I always say to never do, and then I did it. And so I just had to move kind of past that or whatever. I don't know if anybody else has been dealing with a situation like that recently, where you just kind of, you know, ended up in a situation with somebody. Well, I won't say ended up, but, you know, you look up and then you're in a relationship only for it to just get kind of snatched away. But it could have been avoided had you actually had certain conversations. Like let me know if that's something that's happened to you, because I really think that this could have all just been avoided if either one of us had actually had actual defining conversation after the moment that someone outside of us acknowledged us as boyfriends. I think we both probably at that moment just kind of went with it. So, and this is like no shade to him at all. Like, he's an awesome person. I'm just not I'm not interested in his friendship, just like he's not interested in a relationship. And so that's just basically it, you know. It's I don't mean, you know, it's no disrespect to him at all. But you know, what do I look like being a friend to somebody who it didn't work out with? You know what I mean? Like, now I gotta sit up under you and watch you be in all these relationships or go through all these different, you know, situations with other people. That's gonna play on my insecurities, because I'm gonna be measuring myself up against all those other people. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of if you ever even tell me that you're in a relationship. But I mean, if I'm your friend, and a friend is somebody that I actually value, you know. So I don't just have friends for no reason. Like, I just have friends that I don't see or that I don't hang out with. So eventually I will be hanging out with you and spending time, you know. So I'm just gonna pull some cards from the Romance Angels here, and just let's see what Spirit wants me to know as far as how to move on and how to heal. Okay, so the two cards that I got is It's Safe for You to Love and Children. It's safe for you to love. Open your heart to give and receive the highest energy of all. Children, your love life is being affected by children. And so I think that was a part of it as well. I think that's something that he didn't really want to say, was that maybe my kids were part of it, which that's fair. You know what I'm saying? I understand. But, you know, it's not like that person didn't know. We met on fucking Father's Day, after all. So your love life is being affected by children, you know. And just anybody else that I deal with, you know, like, they're just gonna have to understand that I come with children. And granted, they're older. My children are older, you know, they're high school age. But, you know, they still need me. Probably now more than they ever did. And so that's not anything that I'll be really ready to give up. Whoever's going to be with me is going to be somebody that is able to respect that and keep up with that and not be intimidated by that. Now, with that being said, I'm not knowing if that's how he was feeling as far as like intimidated, but maybe there was a little bit of something there that just made him feel as though I couldn't be everything, or I couldn't be 100% in because of that. Spirit also, like I said, Spirit wants me to know that it is safe for me to love, open my heart to receive, and open my heart to give and receive the highest energy of all. So don't be discouraged. I like that. Thank you, Spirit. I needed to really, really hear that. I really, really did. I really, really did. It's kind of like confirmation of something, but then at the same time, just, you know, assurance, knowing that it will be better. I'm going to pull some tarot. What do I need to understand about this situation? What do I need to understand about this situation? The Princess of Swords. Get to know people a little bit longer, Spirit wants me to say. I hear that. Get to know this person a little bit longer, you know, for the next time, or maybe in this situation, you know, there was still more to know about this situation. There was still more to find out about this person. The Queen of Cups. Okay. Oh, okay. So they may have gotten, okay. So it sounds like they may have gotten some advice from an older figure. Now the King of Swords. Oh, wow. They may have gotten advice from like somebody or two people, a mother and a father. Okay. I feel like they could have gotten advice from people that either they value or just close people to them. Or like I said, it could be like could be their parent or whatever, that maybe they got some sort of advice from that ultimately made him make the decision as well. Okay, Temperance card here. So the Temperance card is letting me know that that it wasn't necessarily something that I did. It was just more so just about what could be tolerated and what couldn't be tolerated. This is funny because this is kind of like a confirmation of just things that I had been already thinking as I've been going through, you know, just the healing process. And like I said, like, honestly, it hasn't been that much time, so you would think, oh, I shouldn't be feeling like this about this individual. But the thing is that, like, yeah, it's in the way that I was finally starting to let my guard down. I was at the moment starting to finally let my guard down with this person, and so for it to change like that, it was just like, you know, it's kind of been a big deal. What other advice do I need, Spirit? Okay. The Chimera, imagination clouds your judgment. And so, yeah, basically that's already kind of, again, what I've been understanding. You know, I was very much caught up in the idea of like, oh, this person is the thing. I'm in it, you know, I'm in a relationship again. You know what I mean? When really, you know, had we had more concrete conversations instead of leaving everything up to assumption. And it's something that the both of us did, you know, which I don't blame him for taking a step back, especially since we hadn't had those defining conversations. You know, things could have been a little bit different though had we had. Let's get one more card. I want to know what I need to do moving forward. Okay, your luck will soon change is what shows here. The black cat. And there was actually just a black cat right outside my window just a second ago. And so I feel like this is along with the it's safe for you to love, right? Because there will be a time where it's going to be safe to open up and to love and to let those walls down, but under better and more concrete circumstances. Okay, I want to get back to this because Spirit is telling me something this as well. It may not be something as concrete as this person getting strong advice from someone else, from their elders or something like that. This could be just where it's just been, you know, just within themselves, if there was just any inkling of something that they felt like they couldn't tolerate or that they couldn't emotionally get through or handle, or, you know, if it was just something that just totally strictly went against maybe a particular value or idea of theirs, then okay, that's a valid reason as well, you know, to end things. And like I said, this person, I'm sure, was very honest with telling me exactly everything that they felt. But to be honest with you, I didn't get it all. I really didn't get it all because I was in shock. And so I really had only fixated on the words, I just want to be friends. But yeah, this actually was a very, very personal message, y'all. And thank y'all if y'all have been here with me for this whole video. Thank y'all for the time. Like, I really, really do appreciate it. I know I've been away, but like I said, I've been just working on my own healing, my own ego. I've been working, I've been, you know, being a parent. And so honestly, like I said, the passion is still there. I'm going to be getting more videos out. So yeah, look out for that. You guys, if you have any similar stories to this, like, just let me know what's going on in the comment box below. I definitely appreciate all of your time and the support. So I think that's about it, you guys. I'll talk to you all later. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.